Is it on? There we go. Um, I want to thank each and every one of you for being here today. And I want you to know that everything we have done for this day is exactly as Van had wanted it. And I thank you all for making his wishes come true. And I'd like to open it up. If anyone would like to have something to say, you may do so at this time. Thank you.
We'd like most of the family that would like to come up and speak or say something about Van, for Van or for Devlin. Please go ahead and come up.
Good morning. I am Leanne Aggson Corbin, and Van was my big brother. And he requested that this be a fun celebration and that I tell jokes. So I'm going to get the tears out of the way first, because I would just like to commend you and thank you for the beautiful spirit that is here today of love and of our Heavenly Father. Is absolutely an outpouring of love, and I know that Van and Deb appreciate it so much. I appreciate it, and it's a beautiful camaraderie that you have among you, and I applaud you for it. It's great to see so many people who loved Van. I called Van a collector of people because he was always such a happy guy, and you know, he had that big, deep, burly voice. I do not have. Thankfully, I have this microphone. But he was just an absolute optimist, is what I would say about my big brother. He took anything that came his way with absolute optimism. I'd also like to say that the love between Deb and Van is so true and so beautiful. And I believe that they are soulmates, and I know that they will be together again in the hereafter. And I'm so grateful that they have each other, and it has been a beautiful thing to see Deb serve my brother with such love and dignity and warmth, such care, as he fought like a warrior the valiant battle with cancer. I believe that he lived as long as he did, a huge part because of her great love and service for him. Now on to the good stuff. There's a few stories about Van that I think are really funny. He was a funny guy. And when he was a little tyke, so he's the oldest of us, and my dad, who also served in the U.S. Navy, and my mom served in the U.S. Navy, and they were married in it's now a museum, but it was the U.S. Naval Chapel down in San Diego. Anyways, they had Van in 1959, and my dad affectionately called him Ichiban Boy-san, which means number one son. And anyways, he was all of about maybe 3 years old, and he was riding his tricycle around and around the pool, and my dad was doing what he absolutely loved to do. It was almost an OCD thing, but he loved to do the yard and then hose everything down. That was long before we ever had water restraints. And so he was hosing it down and watching his little tyke, and he was just pedaling full speed ahead and pedaled right into the deep end and just kept pedaling. Down he went, down he went. And that is my brother Van. He took on life with absolute gusto and zeal and joy. And that's pretty much how he lived his life. The second story, maybe I'll throw in two more. Another story is when him and my brother decided that they would save up whatever allowance they could and get a mini bike. And they worked on this mini bike day in and day out until they got it running and they got it to go fast and everything, and they were testing it out, and they went all the way to the end of the driveway, and they said, well, let's test the brakes, and they went all full speed ahead, and boom, right through the back garage door. And it was obliterated. And the look on their faces was like, oh my goodness, when our parents get home, Dad is gonna see there is no garage door. So that was the second one. The third one I'll throw in is in high school. He's very smart. I'm sure you guys know this as you love and know him so well, but he was very good with science and math and just had an excellent memory. My siblings and I did not get that. I'm all art brain, but he was brilliant. And but he had a fun side to him. He was probably one of the most balanced people I have ever done. And he was a thespian at the San Dimas High School drama. And he played Linus in the play, and it was very cute. And I remember being 5 years younger than him with high school to anticipate to, and thinking how cool that was, and how much fun he had, and what a camaraderie that cast had. And they had the party after, and this is the same type of camaraderie, and he just has lived his life with that type of camaraderie. My last story about my brother is when he was serving in the United States Navy, and he went to boot camp. And of course, you know, when you go to boot camp, you don't get phone calls, and you don't have a lot of contact with your family, and it's very hard. And my brother had asthma, but he kind of fudged a little bit because he really was very independent and very, very motivated, and he wanted to serve in the United States Navy. So he passed all the tests, but when it came to that 6 minute mile or whatever they had to do, so difficult. And he wrote a letter to my dad. So can you imagine the snail's pace? But boot camp's fairly long, and he said, "Dad, I'm struggling with this. I'm really struggling with this. And what can you tell me how I can get through this so I can accomplish it?" My dad wrote him back some counsel like a good dad. And when we showed up to the graduation of the boot camp, out in front, there was skinny Van leading the entire battalion. He had gone from the bottom and climbed his way with determination and optimism to the top of that battalion. And he was out in front with the special battalion sword, and they were all marching the whole thing, and they kept marching, and the whole platoon, troop, whatever you call it in the Navy, stopped. But Van kept marching. And this is what's so funny about it. So he looked up in the stand, he saw his puny little sister, he saw his beautiful blonde mom, and he saw a man with my mom. And he just kept marching because he just didn't know who that man was. Well, lo and behold, he did not know, but when he went off to boot camp, my dad had gotten a toupee. So he was seeing this man and kept marching. Thankfully, the speaker realized this was a glitch. No one in the audience knew there was a mistake. He did it with such pristine. He did the about face. He did the sword thing. He walked back to the battalion, and no one knew. It was smooth as butter. And it wasn't until later that because I said, "I'm going to tell a poignant story about you." And then he told me that funny thing. And I'm like, even that has joy and laughter. So it is with great love that I speak these words about my brother, and I love him, and I'm so grateful for Deb, and I'm grateful for all of you to be here to celebrate him. Thank you so very much. And I say these things in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Aloha. I am Van's oldest friend. Our mothers were pregnant together in Covina. I beat him out by 4 months. I was born in November. Van was born in February the next year, but we were friends our entire life. And I think it's amazing to think about that 61 years. I had the great privilege of seeing Van the last week of his life. And what's amazing to me through everything that we do, we always go back to the stories of our childhood. And we had an amazing childhood together. So we grew up on the same street. When we were 5, we moved to respective towns. but we stayed together pretty much all the way through the Navy. And then when he got out, he became a stereo installer here in San Diego, got married, and we kind of grew apart for a time. But with the advent of social media, a thing called Facebook, he was the first person that tried to link in with me 13 years ago. And so it's pretty amazing that in the 20 years we were apart, nothing changed. And the other thing that we realized when we started talking to each other again, that we literally went to 50 concerts together not knowing we were in the audience. We went to the Grateful Dead, Bruce Springsteen, little band called the Beat Farmers down here in San Diego. It was amazing. At the end of the day, we ended up figuring out we went to 50 concerts together, but never saw each other. So I had a really blessed relationship with him. And I want to just share with you something that Leanne just said, is that he's the most positive person I ever had in my life. You could never get that guy down for a second. I remember 10 years ago, he told me by phone that he was just starting his battle with cancer, and it was like he was talking, yeah, Richard, I got a cold and it might take me out eventually, but don't worry about it. You know, you don't need to do anything for me. I got it covered. And that's pretty much the last 10 years with him. About 9 years ago, I met up with him, and I took this photo that's right here in the middle with him with a shirt that says Colorado, but it's very interesting. In the back, there's a praying angel that I never saw until he passed away a couple of weeks ago. And so I always say that, you know, we're always surrounded by angels, and I think that's amazing that you guys came out as this amazing group of people. And you really were the angels that gave him life. Deborah, you were his life force as well. And again, probably one of my greatest life forces as well in terms of positivity. So I really want to celebrate today. He was an amazing friend, an amazing man, and I'm so happy that you came out today. God bless.
Hi, it's hard to see you guys. My name is Santana, if you don't know me. Can you hear me? Can you hear me now? I had the honor and blessing of calling Van my stepdad for the last 13 years. I don't really know what to say. Van was more a father to me than my own father. And I was always so happy and proud to have him in my life. I always felt so honored that my mom found him. And I always knew that she was safe with him because their love was like some Nicholas Sparks kind of shit. Oh, God. This type of love, man. I always remember this story, and this is really emblematic of their love. Van hated change. I don't know if you guys knew that about Van. And my mom, since the time I was born, loves to rearrange the furniture in the house. Once a quarter, twice a year, whatever it is, she'll get an itch and she'll rearrange the entire house. And you come home and it's like you never lived there. And this would drive Van up the fucking wall. Van would come home and he would say, "What'd you do? I'm going to stub my toe on the way to the bathroom at night." And she'd say, "Van, the bathroom's not even that way." And so he would go along with it because he knew how happy it made her, even though change in that way made him really uncomfortable, and he would do his little Van grumble. But at the end of the day, they were just so much happier being together. And Van was so full of love, which he was very generous in sharing. I think that's why there's so many of you here today. But I think that's why he had such a special place in my heart, and we had such a special relationship with each other. We're very similar people. We are both know-it-alls. We love Jeopardy. We both love random facts and telling people those random facts unsolicited. We're both Pisces and a little bit stubborn. We both know what we know and want everybody to know what we know. We're both bleeding heart liberals and very, very open and loving with our affection for all people. I'm not a deadhead, but it rubbed off on me. And something that we shared together was going to concerts as a family. I can't tell you how many concerts I've been to with my mom and Van. We even went to a music festival on a farm in Virginia. And so it's really bittersweet to be here and to say goodbye to a father. But if there's one thing that Van taught me, it was to always be loving. And so while I'm grieving, my grief is not selfish. I know that he touched all of your lives too. And I'm happy that we can be here together to celebrate all of the ways that we felt loved by Van and all of the laughs that we shared with him. I hope that in time it doesn't hurt quite so much and we can just laugh because I know that's what he would want us to do. So thank you for being here and thank you for listening to Van.
Wait a minute. I want to talk about when I first met Van. I was brand new to the chapter, to the Harley chapter, and I would sit at tables and people would come over to me because we have a friendly group. Van was one of those people, and I will never forget the day he was sitting there literally bouncing in his chair. It's like, Van, what's up? He says, I met a girl. I met her online. She wants to ride on the back of my motorcycle. It was so wonderful to see Van light up like that. And then, next thing you know, next Harley meeting, we get to meet Dublin. And then, fast forward, before you know it, at another Harley meeting, Van's proposing to Dublin. And then, fast forward, at the Harley dealership, they're getting married. It was the most, I tell this story to a lot of different people because it's so heartwarming. Van, from the very beginning, was so excited and always enthusiastic. And Dublin, blessings to you, my dear. I know he loved you. I know you loved him from day one. And we are so happy that we can be here and celebrate this with you. Much love to Van and to Dublin and to the family.
Hello, my name is John Hofstetter. I'm one of the HOG members. I met Van in August of 14 at a chapter meeting, and he was a very great guy, very giving guy. We had just bought our brand new bike, and I was admiring another bike in the dealership that happened to be the CVO. I just couldn't swing any of the proper way. And then Van bought that bike. I was a little jealous of him at that point. But anyways, later on, unfortunately he lost that bike, and we found one just like it last year. And when I got it, I contacted Van to see if he had anything that he'd like to release, and I let him call the price on what he wanted for it. And he gave me more than I thought he was going to give me. I was just wanting to cover. He gave me a lot more of items, and very giving gentleman. And that's the way he was. That's the way I knew him, and that's the way I want to remember him. And as a child of a lost parent, you do heal eventually, and it's hard, and it takes time. And God bless everybody here. Thank you.
Hello everybody, I'm Rose, one of Van's daughters. It's so nice that all of you guys came out today to support him. I'd like to tell you guys a couple of stories from when I was little. Sorry. When my dad was a bachelor, he sacrificed every weekend to be with his kids. And he would do so many amazing things for us. He would take us to the zoo almost once a month and taught us so much about animals. And it's always been a passion of ours. He would also take us to the beach and get super sunburned, and he'd be the big lobster man the next day, making us breakfast, which my favorite was always the sausage, biscuits, and gravy with the Tony Sacheries, what up? Another good story was when he would just have nights in with us. We'd play board games or watch Jeopardy, and he had his lovely kegerator with almost every tap handle you could imagine. And I would be the one sitting there pouring his beer and sipping off all the foam and then bringing it over to him on the table. There was also some times where, we were kids and we didn't like his rules, obviously. And I remember one of them was no snacks before dinner. And I like snacks, so I got pretty mad. And I would cry because I wanted my Cheez-Its, and he'd get mad because you gotta eat dinner. And now I understand that because my husband snacks before dinner. And I get mad. He had a lot of great qualities that all of you guys knew. And he had, sometimes where it was hard. And no matter what, he always fought through it. And so he was just an overall good guy, and he was a good dad, even though I didn't get to see him as much as I would have liked to. And I'd like to thank you all once again for coming here today.
Anybody else? Nobody has something they want to say? There you go. I knew I'd pull one of them out. This is trouble here, just so you know.
I'm Raul, and I'm one of those hog members. Oh, turn it on.
No, it's on. Just got to speak into it straight.
How about now?
Oh.
No, it's not on.
Oh, the wire on the speaker. On the unit. There you go.
How about now? Anything?
There you go.
We go. Oh, stay right there, Wally. I'm Raul, and I joined the hog group, met Van in 2009. He was my mentor when I was got into the road captain program. We did have mentors in those days too. And I'd always tease him about it. Oh, that's my mentor. He goes, but I didn't do anything. I don't even think we went on the same rides for a long time, but to me, he was always my mentor. And then we were sitting together at the Christmas party in 2010. And we were passing on the baton for the different positions. That's when he says, you can take the webmaster. It's easy, he said. It's really easy. I'm just going, okay, I do computers somewhat, but thanks, Van, for that. That takes up so much of my time. It's unbelievable. But you know what? It's a blessing. He took me under his wing. He really did. I remember you, Devlin, that I'd come over and we'd sit for hours in front of the computer, and he'd download all this stuff for me, and he gave me a good start with the hog group, and I'll never forget that. And the hospitality you showed me when I came into your home. So thank you so much for that. God bless.
Anybody else? No? Hey, what's up, Georgie? Come on down. You're the next contestant. All right. This is Georgie, by the way. He's president of the Spider Riders of America. Not just a local, but like national. This is the top dog.
Hey, everybody. I worked with Van for a lot of years. And he rode, and finally one day I bought a Spider. And he invites me, hey, come ride with us. It'll be fun. Okay, cool. So he says, we're going to come over to my house, and then we'll go meet the group for breakfast. We were riding with a group. They were going to Yuma for lunch. I said, okay. I had never been, literally, 40 miles on my Spider was probably the most I'd ever done in a full stretch. I'm like, all right, Yuma, sure. So I get to his house, and we get on the bikes, and we go the short distance over to breakfast to meet the group, and there's nobody there. And he goes, "Oh, they left at 8, not 9. So he goes, "Hold on, I got the route back at home. Let's go find out where they're going." So we go back to his house, and he pulls the route up, and he goes, "They're going 94 out to Desert Tower. If we jump on 8, we can catch them." Sweet! So we jump on 8, and we're flying down 8. And we catch them at Desert Tower. They'd been there like 2 minutes. Some of them are still getting off their bike as we roll in. So we're there for a little bit, and there's probably 25 bikes. And here I am, the only spider, and everybody's looking at me like. So we leave Desert Tower, and we stopped for lunch at Cracker Barrel in Yuma. And lunch was an experience, let's just put it that way. We leave Desert Tower, we're gonna go over to the prison and take some pictures at the prison. So we go over to the prison, and we're there for a little while, and we're getting ready. They said, "Okay, we're gonna leave in about 10 minutes. I said, "Oh, I'm gonna need gas. Can I go get some gas?" And a couple other guys were like, "Yeah, we'll go get gas." So I'm like, "I'll be right back." So I leave, I go get gas. I come back, the parking lot's empty. Everybody left without me. So it's like, well, good thing I know the way home. So that became my first solo long distance trip. Long distance, but no. Hey, trial by fire, right? Another time, like I said, I worked with Van, and another one of our coworkers was going to do the Susan G. Komen 3-day walk. And, you know, each person has to come up with X amount of donations to make that happen. And he says, "I don't know if I'm going to make it." I said, "Tell you what, I hear about these biker charity rides all the time. Let's see what we can do." So I put and I had probably had my spider, I don't know, 6 months at this time. Didn't know another person owned a spider. So I put this story, "This is what we're going to do." And I said, "Van, can you help me?" He's like, "Oh, no problem. It's a piece of cake." Next day, he's got a route for us. He's got stops for us. He's got everything lined up, turn by turn, miles, the whole thing. I was like, wow. I'd never done that before. I'd never seen that. So I put it out on some of the spider forums and things like that. This is before Facebook. And I think we had 10 spiders that day. And people came from, like, I had 3 riders come from Simi Valley to do a 25-mile ride. I mean, literally, we started at El Cajon Harley, we went to Barrett Junction. I think we raised $300, $400 that day. It was a little better than nothing, but I met some of my closest friends that day, and wouldn't have happened if Van hadn't stepped up to help. So we miss you, Van.
Thanks, Georgie. Also, in case you guys have to use the restroom, there's restrooms over here by the pool. They're outside the gate. If you want to go swimming, we can get a key. You can go in there and go swimming if you want. I don't think anybody brought their swim trunks. But there's restrooms over there.
Painful, huh?
They're grilling up, Mike and Rick are over there grilling up hamburgers and hot dogs for you guys. There's Gatorade and water in the cooler. There'll be chips and beans, all kinds of stuff. Anybody else have anything they want to come on up and say? I know there's stories out there. Come on, Randy. Come on, Parker. Come on, let's see, who else? Anybody? No? Okay, I guess you're all waiting on me, huh? Also, we have some, there's only a handful of them up here. If you get one, enjoy it. Wear it proudly. We made up some ribbons. They're kind of like the breast cancer ribbons, but they're with Grateful Dead characters. Thank you guys all for coming out and supporting. Thank you for the road guards and the road captains for making sure we all made it here safely. You guys did a wonderful job. Like everybody said, Van will be so stoked to see everybody here. Me and Deanne joined the El Cajon Hog chapter in about 2011. got more active in 2012. Let's see, I believe I wanted to become a road captain in 2012. What was it, 11?
I don't know.
I don't know. I think it was 11. Let's see.
Just talk.
I don't know. Got to meet Van, go on many rides with them. We used to do a ride called the Aggson ride. Everybody loved it. It was a great time. Kim Wallace finally retired that ride, and then there for a year or so, we could tell that the chapter was missing something. So me and Van talked a little bit about bringing it back. So we talked to Kim, and he gave us his blessing to bring back Aggson under a different banner called ECLR, ECLR, El Cajon Long Ride, which all you guys are welcome to come with if you guys want. Doesn't matter if you're El Cajon Hog member or not. Just sign a waiver. Love to have you there. So the first ECLR ride me and Van put together, we went out to Henderson, and I used to always talk to him from that point moving forward on a lot of the long rides. Monterey, he went on every single one up to Monterey. After Monterey was when he started to get sick, and things were getting a little bit more tougher for him. But he was a good inspiration to me. Even up to just not too long ago when we went up to Angeles Crest Highway. We sat down for a while and just talked about all the roads up there, the stuff he used to do when he went and got his driver's license. The instructor took him up some twisty, windy road. He looked at the instructor and said, "Hey, let's go." Okay. So they went on up some twisty, windy road, came back. Guy gave him his license. But he was a good man. A lot of stories. Politics. Oh boy. Yeah, I gotta laugh at you guys. He loved his politics. I used to enjoy sitting down and shooting the shit with him about politics, because I knew that when we were all done, we would just talk about it either way. I'm not much of, don't get into politics, so I don't care too much about it, but I would shoot the shit with him. And when we were done, we'd go figure out what we're gonna do, eat, whatever it might be, watch TV. I get a phone call from the wife saying I have to come home, so I say, okay, gotta go. I remember even doing one of his last director ride, which we have. It's called the Throw Up and Show Up. Who named that, Raul?
Doc.
Doc, that's right. Doc named it. So we were pre-riding one of Van's last Throw Up and Show Up rides, and we were going up over Sunrise Highway, and we stopped up at the there's a bathroom up there. Ice everywhere still. We're out there pre-riding the ride. It was a good time. If it wasn't for Van, I wouldn't even know how to ride up over Angeles Crest. Engineer Road. It's not the easiest road to go across. I learned it was right, left, 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 in case you want to know. Or left, right, right, right. I know. Depending on which direction you're going. I was very privileged and honored to be his assistant director. I truly, he was the one that started the gavel. He gave me a gavel when I took over as director. I since then have kept that tradition moving forward. Right, Amy? She's got one. Everybody said a lot of good stuff about him. I remember the day that him and Devlin won the platinum prizes for the 110 anniversary. Was it the 110 or the 115, Devlin? She's over there talking. Devlin was all in tears and excited to go to the Milwaukee, I believe it was the 115, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, 115 anniversary. I know Van and Pete and Devlin shared many stories and many adventures on the road. Where is Pete? There you are. Did you want to say a few things about the man? Come on, man. Nah, you got more stories than I do about this. No, you don't. Come on, Pete. Tell us about the time when you guys were on the road and you had to rebuild the front end of your bike. Yeah?
Camera shy.
Yeah, it was you. Yes, he did. Van was always notorious for mountain goat roads. He loved them. Go down the road till it ended and go, okay, that's where it ends. Devlin's been with him on many adventures. What about the shake and bake ride? Remember that one? Shake and bake, baby. You shake it, and then you bake it. I believe they were on one of their long rides. They were back east or Midwest. They were through. They had a family emergency. They had to come home in a hurry, right?
No, the shake and bake we were riding in Arizona.
Okay, they're in Arizona. They went through rain, wind, and then they got the shake and bake thrown on top of them, which was, I believe, a dust storm, right? Yeah. They were soaking wet, and then they went through a dust storm.
Rain, hail, dust.
There you go, rain, hail, and dust. I'll never forget. He always called it the shake and bake. You want to say something?
I did.
All right. So I got a new contestant. Come on up, dear.
I'd just like to thank everybody for showing up today and helping us honor Van. Van was very dear to Wally and I. I can't remember a holiday that they were not at our table. I just love Van so much. It was such a great inspiration. He was always happy. No matter what was thrown at him, he was always smiling and always happy and always upbeat, and we got this, you know. A few days before Van passed, he called Wally and I over and he said, listen, I don't want no boo-hooing, but I do want you guys to celebrate and enjoy the day, you know, and just celebrate. And I said, Van, I can't promise you there won't be any tears, but I can guarantee you will have a celebration that you will not forget. So, with that being said, I love you, Van, and I miss you dearly. The food's ready. If you guys are hungry, if nobody else has anything to say, at this point, you're welcome to come up anytime during the day and talk about Van, talk about Devlin. I'm gonna miss Devlin so much when she leaves. She's just my best friend. I love you too. And just thank you. Thank you for supporting Van. Food's ready. We're gonna play some music. So, like I said, if you have anything you'd like to come up and share with Van about Van, please do.
Let the dad.